Welcome back to the program, Cleta Mitchell. How are you, Cleta?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Thank you for all of your hard work and all of the people that are working with you to ensure that the election has some integrity. But I want to talk to you first about the Georgia battle against the Democrats. What is happening in Georgia right now?
Well, what we have going on, Georgia seems to always be Georgia's always on my mind, I guess. What has happened is that the state election board is a 5-member board that has one member appointed by the Republicans, one member appointed by the state Democratic Party, one member appointed by the Speaker of the House, one member appointed by the Lieutenant Governor, who's President of the Senate, and the chairman's appointed by the governor. That should be a 4-to-1 Republican to Democrat ratio. However, historically, there have always been these Republicans who vote with the Democrat. And so the idea, it's how many places do we see this, Glenn? Everywhere.
Oh my gosh, it is just so exhausting. The Republicans are they're just limp noodles. God, they're bad.
Exhausting is the best word. But as of June of this year, we finally have a rule of law majority. 3, the Republican appointee from the state party, the lieutenant governor's appointee, and then in June, the Speaker of the House replaced his pro-Democrat Republican appointee with a firebrand, smart, capable conservative woman. And so for the first time, we have a rule of law majority of election board members who are determined to that the law be implemented, that the Georgia law be implemented. And so they have issued, which is that let's just start with one of the things the Democrats are going berserk over, a rule that will take effect next week that requires reconciliation of the ballots before and the votes prior to the time when they're certified. And what that means is that at every voting location, before those results are sent to the county, that voting location, the workers must look at the number of voters who are shown as having been issued ballots, and that number must match the number of ballots issued, and that number must match the number of votes cast in that precinct.
That's crazy. That's
right.
I mean, you want to make sure that the numbers match. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
As we say, it's kindergarten arithmetic. But the left is going berserk, absolutely berserk. And they are saying, well, it will delay certification. Well, no, it doesn't delay anything. If they just have to make sure those numbers match and that the results are accurate. The Democrats are literally saying they want speed over accuracy. Now, why would they do that?
Okay, yeah, especially from the people who say it may be days before we know. You know, got to get used to this new system. Right. So they want speed.
We want to be able to receive ballots for 2 weeks. Right.
How hard is it to have a tally sheet of everybody who signed in and got a ballot and start numbering them as they come in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then look at the counter on the machine and see if they match? I don't think that's a problem.
Right. No, but it was a problem in county after county after county in 2020. And so they also are taking the position, and this is another rule a new rule. Now, mind you, this is already the state law. Let's not forget that. The statute requires it. It's just that there's been no procedure in the state board's rules that say, here's how you do this, step by step by step. So this just
you wouldn't think you would need to.
You wouldn't think you'd need to. But another rule says that the members of the board at every county, you have either a 3 or 5 member board. It's up to the county, and it's it's a bipartisan board. It's either 3 to 2 from whatever party controls the county because it's appointed by the county party and the county commissioners. So if you have a Democrat county commission, as in Fulton County, the Democrats will control. If you have a Republican county commission, as in some of the red counties, the Republicans will control. But it says the state law says that they take an oath to certify the elections, that it's a true and accurate. Each of them has to sign the
kind of a big deal. Yeah,
right.
Kind of like part of the job.
Well, yes, except that Mark Elias, the Democrats' election cheating lawyer, has come up with a theory that he is advancing. And now the left wing, the ABA, American Bar Association, all these left-wing advocacy groups are advancing this all over the country to say that these bipartisan boards are just ceremonial, that they have no authority.
Gosh.
I'm not making this up. They have no authority. The Democrat legislature in Michigan about a month ago passed a bill to strip the bipartisan canvassing boards that has historically performed this role of looking at the data and looking at the results and certifying that what the administrators, election workers had done, that this is a true and accurate result. And I call it, you know what I call it? I decided, you know what, this is like Fauciizing the election process. Don't ask any questions. Trust the experts. Do what we say, and don't look behind the curtain. So that's what they're doing in Georgia.
We're talking to Cleta Mitchell. She's her website is whoscounting.us. But what's happening in Georgia, and I want to expand this a bit, are illegals being registered to vote?
Yes, they are. And here's how it's happening. You have them going into the Department of Motor Vehicles, or whatever it's called in your state, Department of Transportation, Department of Driver Services, and 31 years ago, Congress passed a law saying that states must, when issued a driver's license, that people must be given the voter registration forms. They must be given those forms at the DMV, or if you go to sign up for food stamps or welfare benefits, that wherever people interact with these two types of government agencies, they must be registered to vote. And so that law also requires that states must accept and use the federal voter registration form. Well, that form just has a box to check. Are you a citizen? And we have ample evidence over a number of years where people will check the box, no, I'm not a citizen, and they get sent over and registered to vote anyway. Well, now what you have, and I have had reports, people have seen this all over the country, that when they have been going in, being just normal people, going in to get their driver's license renewed or a tag for their new car, and they see these clusters of people who clearly don't speak English. In Michigan, a fellow sent me something about a group, and this woman had a big sign around her neck that said interpreter, and she was taking them in to get their driver's licenses or their ID cards. And I have absolutely no reason to think that they're not automatically being added to the voter rolls, because Michigan has a new law that you have to opt out. You have to opt out in Georgia. And these people don't even speak English. How are they even going to know that they've been added to the voter rolls? Because they're automatically added. And once they get on those voter rolls, it's very difficult to get them off. And the two ways that states have historically confirmed identity and residency were with the driver's license and with the Social Security number. Well, you don't have to be a citizen to get either of those. And in 19 states, illegals are issued driver's licenses. It's been a big push by the ACLU. So it's a very big problem. It's a very big problem. And what we finally figured out... Go ahead.
No.
What we finally figured out is that the only way that the states could, if they wanted to, right now, they could run their voter rolls against the database that the DMVs have of citizenship because of Real ID. The DMVs are required to only issue a driver's license, one of the Real ID licenses to someone who's a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. You don't have to be a citizen to get a Real ID. But in Wisconsin last week, a suit was filed to force the voter rolls to be run against the Wisconsin Department of Transportation database. They have acknowledged publicly that they have citizenship data, but so far the Democrat regime in Wisconsin has refused to run the databases to see who on the voter rolls is a non-citizen, and then require them to come in and provide proof of citizenship to be able to stay on the rolls and vote. It's a very big problem.
All right. So, Cleta, in listening to this, I can imagine the average person says, it's already taken. It's done. They've already won because they're going to cheat, and it doesn't matter anymore. And if they're not saying it now, they will say it by the end of this election season if things look shady, which I can't imagine that they won't just because of the number of illegals. So what do we do to help shore this up? Every American, Republican, Democrat, Independent, should all be on board with making sure there is no funny business in a blue state or a blue district or a red district. It doesn't matter. Nobody should be voting that shouldn't be voting, and every vote should be counted that should be counted. That is an actual voter. So Cleta Mitchell is with us. She is the Election Integrity Network founder, and we've been talking about Georgia and some of the other places. All of these swing states are so important right now. She's with who'scounting.us. So what do we do, Cleta?
Well, there are a couple of things. Specifically talking about non-citizen voting, we have formed a national coalition, and people can sign up at it's www.onlycitizensvotecoalition.com, and you'll get the weekly newsletter. And we have a national working group that meets virtually every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to sponsor a national Only Citizens Vote Week, and that will be September the 15th through the 20th. We have resources people can download. We'll have full kits by next week where people can download, take them to your local printer, print signs, go to your local DMVs and find out, talk to the manager, say, what are you doing to make sure that you're not inadvertently or deliberately registering non-citizens? Going to local election boards will have step-by-step instructions about what people can do, talking to their county commissioners, going to their state legislators, calling on their governors and their secretaries of state. We have specific action plans to create visibility. And, the reason we picked that week is because September 17th, Tuesday of that week, is the day it's National Constitution Day. It's the day we commemorate the ratification of the Constitution. And it is to say, if you are a citizen, voting, the duty and the privilege of voting belongs to you from our Constitution, from our beloved U.S. Constitution. You must register. You must vote if you're a citizen. But if you're not a citizen, it is illegal for you to vote in a U.S. election, and we want to. We just basically, Lynn, have to build a national neighborhood watch. I'm calling it like the National DMV Watch, to try to make sure if we put enough eyes and enough noise and enough people saying things, talking on local radio, talking to their, writing letters to the editor, it will deter some bad actors. It will. That's why Neighborhood Watch is important. Is that it change the law? It's just people watching in their neighborhoods, and we better be watching in our neighborhoods about these left-wing NGOs, non-governmental organizations that are bringing illegals all over our country into the communities. We need to be watching how is that translating into registrations of new voters illegally in my county.
All right. It's Only Citizens Vote.
Coalition.
What's the coalition.org?
.com.
Okay.
Only coalition.com. Mm-hmm.
.com. Go there now. Please get this packet. Please stand up. This is, I can't do anything. You can do this. Go to onlycitizensvotecoalition.com and get that packet now. Cleta, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your hard work on this. You bet. Onlycitizensvotecoalition.com.